So, a user that can actually give you a stand by you being hit by his arrow. Holy crap, this sounds freaking interesting. And then as well, when I read into it, actually, because one person pointed it out, that actually in part 3, the actual bow and arrow is sitting in Dio's place. I was kind of like, oh my god. So this whole entire time, this whole thing has been teased. But Christ, on a bicycle. So you could be walking down the street, mind your own goddamn business, listen to some Spice Girls, I don't know. And then, out of nowhere, freaking this dude just hits you with an arrow. You become a stand user. Koichi might actually become a stand user by the end of next episode. Not too sure. Either way, it's going to sound really freaking interesting. So if you hit with his arrow, you become a stand user. That's how we actually realise what happened with Angelo. How Angelo got his stand. Since basically 1 month before his execution, on one of the nights, this guy came into his room and basically said, you know what, mate? Become a stand user, and he actually hit with his arrow. He was stabbed in the neck and literally almost dead, and actually become a stand user. I was kind of like, oh Christ, okay, this now sounds interesting. The fact that actually the actual witch from season 3 actually did also have this, in the sense basically she had this bow and arrow, but when she died, someone else must have grabbed it. I'm guessing Okayasu's brother must have grabbed the actual bow and arrow, and that's basically where the events now take place. But riding the bicycle, I'm freaking damn interested. This actually sounds like a really freaking great, like, kind of arc. Hopefully this actually does get explored a lot more, because we're actually getting some context on where Dio might actually got his stand from, since we actually kind of know maybe the bow and arrow is what gave him his stand, and then now Jotaro is kind of really freaking damn worried that maybe we actually might get a stand that actually worsens the world. It's kind of like, oh my god, it's all going down, and I'm done with Unbreakable. I want to see what happens next, because holy Christ, if JoJo knows to do one thing great, it knows how to do a great cliffhanger to make you go back to the next episode, because bloody hell, they're all freaking great. But I just thought to myself, even Okayasu's actual stand, it was freaking amazing. The fact that actually his stand's called the hand, and he has a right hand which basically, once you get hit by it, or anything that's been hit by it, gets scrapped. So anything that's not hit by it stays exactly the same. Anything that's actually hit by it gets taken away, gets transported to some kind of other dimension. We're not even too sure. Might even be Dimension W. We're not even too sure. But either way, when you get hit, it goes. So in this fight between Josuke, because Okayasu and Josuke actually fight, because Koichi's basically bleeding out, almost dead, because he gets hit by the arrow, you actually find out he actually kind of uses attack and actually kind of scraps the passage between him and Josuke, and actually kind of teleports him forward. It's kind of like, now this sounds freaking interesting in the sense, basically, you could be screwed in the sense you could be standing 10 feet away. Goes, you're screwed. That's kind of like, oh, great. Now, that's going to be interesting. But I guess Okayasu's not as smart as we imagined, because in the end, basically, Josuke uses it to his advantage, and he takes him down. I thought, okay. So, I like Josuke, because even though he gets his hair is the most important thing, he's still pretty freaking smart. He knows what he's doing, so either way, I'm still liking what's happening here. It's still freaking damn great. If anything, JoJo knows to do a really freaking good cliffhanger. Just, oh my god. I want to see what happens next, because you could be walking down the street and you get hit by his arrow, you're freaking screwed. And the fact that actually, we might actually know how Dio actually got his stand, it just makes me wonder, could he actually make a stand worse than the world? Could there actually be a main enemy worse than the world? It's freaking interesting. I'm kind of like, oh my god, I want to know more. And also, Josuke's mum mistaking Jotaro for Joseph as well. It's kind of like, if anything, it's a nice juxtaposition between the quite extensive things that were going on in this episode. It kind of is going, oh my god, it's Joseph. And it's like, I'm not Joseph. I was like, ha ha. It's like, yada yada does it. I was like, oh yes. Even though in this episode we got more yada yada does it, I was kind of like, thank you, God. Thank you. Gave me more yada yada does it. I was missing that. The fact that Angelo also became a bloody stone man. And then actually, as Joseph walks past, goes, yo, Angelo, as well. It's kind of like, oh my god, Koichi's like, the hell? What was he talking about? And he goes, yeah, Angelo, at the end. I was kind of like, this is freaking great. I just kind of know with Josuke, you can't piss him off about his hair, because he goes absolutely freaking nuts. Granted, if anything, I want to know more about how his hair stays so perfect in the rain. How he never gets anything happen to it. Because he just freaking stays exactly perfect. I was kind of like, it's freaking interesting. I want to know more about it. But either way, Daiyamondo's Unbreakable episode 4. Freaking on point, freaking amazing. I want to know what happens next. I want to see if this actual stand user becomes more predominant later on in the series. I'm not too sure, because normally they're 2-episode arcs, so I'm not too sure whether or not it will be. Either way, I want to know more about this world. It's just, Morio is freaking interesting. Koichi's actually kind of realizing there's actually more in this town going on than he actually even imagines, how anyone else imagines. The fact that actually maybe all these missing people are becoming stand users. It's freaking going, it's all going on, mate. It's all going on in JoJo. So yeah, with all that freaking said, I have been the driver. If you like, do leave a like, it's quite a bit. Even leave a sub. Do leave a sub. It helps me quite a bit. But with all that said, I have been the driver, and I will see you guys later. Bye for now.